G'day folks, Chris Janzon, EXP Realty. Thanks for joining us here on the beautiful Lefevre Peninsula. As you can see, the historic Port Adelaide behind me there. And I just had an opportunity whilst busy Saturday ahead in between appointments. Sun was out, I thought a great opportunity just to give some people that might be seeing this, monitoring their market, keeping your finger on the pulse, because I've been having more conversations about this with homeowners, the state of the market, the climate that we are potentially navigating into. So what I want to talk to you real quickly is the topic of today is about why we're seeing more investment rental properties come to the market. And you only need to look around your immediate area, and a good indication of an investment rental property is the amount of vacant properties that are being sold in your suburb at the moment. Maybe they're styled internally throughout, or they're vacant altogether. Well, the reason is quite simply this. Investors are astute buyers. They don't buy on emotion, okay? It's a numbers equation for an investor. Investors buy in the low and they sell in the high. And as we know, the market cycle, investors are always looking for opportunities. But why are we seeing more investment properties hit the market right now? Well, I'll give you a few real life case studies and examples. The main one being is that when mums, dads who had investment aspirations of maybe 2-3 years ago, everyone's properties jacked up in light of the COVID market. Money dropped down in terms of interest. It was cheap to borrow. So a lot of people were sitting on equity. Money was cheap to go out and buy and borrow to go get another property. And a lot of investors were cross-securing with their equity to go and buy another property or 2 or 3 on the basis of the cash flow analysis for them being at an interest rate of around 2%. And this isn't financial advice by any means, but one of the things I'd always encourage is build an alignment with a very qualified and skilled finance broker, because cross-securing, whilst it might be easy, it's one application, there are a few little additional risk implications you should be mindful of, because the last thing that you want to do is jeopardize your own principal place of residence by cross-securing and going out and buying other properties, because it's all good when the rent's coming in, but when it's not, can you hold? Not at what the interest rate was at 2% 2-3 years ago on that investment property or 2. Can you hold if you need to make the repayments on that investment property at current rates of 6.5%? So no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing more astute investors who bought 2-3 years ago. They've ridden that cyclic rise, I guess, in the marketplace and capital values thanks to COVID. They got cheap money at that time, but obviously rates now, it's a bit of a compounding effect. If you're holding a lot of property and you base your cash flow analysis on a 2% interest rate, there could be some financial pain ahead. And I want to just talk real quickly about styling a property. This is a question I get quite commonly. And there's no doubt about it, folks. If you can fund and you can afford to style a property, I do it myself when selling. Absolutely, that is the optimum thing to do in terms of a property's presentation, particularly if it's been an ex-rental property. Maybe it's a little bit soft around the edges, needs a bit of love. Styling a property can obviously overshadow that. But I want to be mindful of those people that maybe don't have the budget to go out and spend $2,500, $3,000 in styling. It's not doom and gloom, folks. It's all determined by the market in your area at that time. So an example I give is, number one, if you can afford within your budget to style a home, that's always the premium option. I do it myself, practice what I preach. If you don't have the budget, there are alternative funding options that we as agents can provide to you, whereby you could look at paid at settlement to style your property. But if you don't want to style, and that's your final decision, that's fine. But I'd always recommend having a look of what's on the market, potentially in competition to that of your home, before you bring your home to market. Because again, putting your buying hat on, if a buyer's out there seeing 3-4 similar homes to that of yours, and they're all immaculately, meticulously well presented, maybe 2 out of the 4 are styled, if the buyers are walking into that home, then coming through yours, and maybe it's not styled, it's a little bit soft around the edges, styling isn't an option within the budget, maybe hold off until those properties go under contract, so supply is a bit more favourable to you and buyers aren't comparing you to that meticulously presented home that is immaculately styled and furnished, which obviously helps with that emotional equation. So no question about it, folks, I'm meeting with more investors, landlords that are looking to come onto the market before September, October this year, and a potential increase in for sale supply. You only need to look around in your suburbs. I know my core areas of Salisbury Council region, Playford Council region, Tea Tree Gully Council region. I'm seeing more homes coming onto the market that are vacant and that are being styled because I know they're ex-rentals. And as I said, investors are astute. Buy in the low, sell in the high. Are we at the tip of that iceberg right now? Well, you don't know until 30, 60 days time when we look back and go, wow, that price that we got then seemed like a fair and good price, but now in the current climate, that actually looks like an amazing price back then. Two things that continue to underpin the market, and there is some data analysis out there, folks, that I've looked at. Around 35 to 40% of the stock that's on the market right now is investor property, rental properties. That's a huge chunk of the market. 35 to 40% of for sale stock on the market right now is investors and landlords properties. And, you know, you've just got to understand that whilst we're undersupplied, yes, there's two things underpinning the market, an undersupply of properties available for sale. The second thing is immigration. But what I want you to understand about immigration, folks, is the migrants that are flying into South Australia today to migrate from the country they've come from aren't walking into a real estate business or meeting with a real estate agent like me tomorrow to buy a property. Immigration will take time to stimulate the market. One of the biggest things we are seeing is a migration of buyer more so from interstate. Victoria predominantly definitely is pushing the market along here. But folks, the signs are pretty clear at the moment. Supply is starting to increase from what I'm experiencing. Investors are starting to cash out. We're seeing more properties on the market that are ex-rentals, vacant and or style. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight as to what's happening live on the ground right now. It is a Saturday, it's game day, it's show day. As always, if you've got any property questions, don't be shy. Just reach out, whether you're selling or not. Maybe you're buying, developing, you need property management advice. Maybe you're that investor and you're sitting on a large portfolio. Just know it's never too late to reach out to get the right advice. Don't leave it to the last minute. But whatever you do, folks, have a splendid weekend and look forward to connecting with you all real soon. I'm Chris Janzon from eXp Realty and it's bye for now. Cheers.